It's a Midwest thing, y'all. They ain't got a clue. Why my cutlass blue? And I got them things on that motherfucker too.
All right. How's it going, everybody? I'd like to welcome you here today on our first episode ever of Midwest Mouthful. You have myself, Ryan Tierney, co-host Jeremy Phillips over here, and we have special guest Taylor Sullivan. Today we'll dig right on in. Jeremy, what would you like to start with?
You know, Ryan, I was thinking over the weekend, David Culley.
David Culley.
How we got fired from the Texans. I mean, they earlier in the season kind of commit to him going forward, knowing all the issues they were going with Deshaun Watson not playing, and I mean,
yeah. And
then all of a sudden Flores gets fired from Miami, and what is it? A couple days later, we have David Culley getting fired. I mean,
do you think Flores will end up being there?
That's a question I'm asking myself. Do the Texans ownership feel that Brian Flores is the missing piece to actually keeping Deshaun Watson in Houston?
And let me correct myself. Culley was there, and who was there? Bill O'Brien, who was there before Culley?
Yes.
Bill O'Brien, who's now with Alabama.
Yes.
And getting calls as well back to the NFL.
Yeah.
So
who's getting ready to go, I believe, interview with the Jaguars. Their head coaching vacancy.
Yeah. That one's kind of interesting, but I don't know. I don't know who you're going to do. If I was the Texans, I'd maybe interview Flores, but I'd wait until everything's done. All football is completely done. You can interview all the assistants, all that. But if you got a guy who you know that you want him now, then I'd probably say you better go get him then.
Yeah.
If that's the case, because then everybody else, that there still might be a few of these playoff teams that maybe want to make a change and we don't know or could.
You're right.
I don't think that's probably going to happen, but you never know. We've seen funnier things basically.
We have.
On the 15th, they tweeted and said they completed interviews with Hines Ward and Joe Lombardi for head coach.
The Texans?
The Texans.
Wow.
Hines Ward. That's an interesting name. I guess I've never really thought. I know he was doing something with somebody, but I didn't really look into him doing that.
Wow, that's
I guess doesn't surprise me. He's quarterback. He's always been smart. He's smart at every position he played at. He's an effort guy.
That he is.
He seems like he
couldn't stand him when he played for the Steelers, but
well,
it is what it is.
That is what it is. That's the life of
being a football player.
Yeah.
Man, Hines Ward is the head coach of the Texans. I don't know, man.
One thing I wanted to dig into was the Big Ten schedule. The Big Ten schedule just got released. Now, I haven't looked at everything, but we all know that this got switched around. It got switched around, and I know Ohio State had something like Penn State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, or something the first 5 weeks, and now they've got 3 good ones, but it's in a 7-week span. And they only have Ohio State playing 4 road games now on this year. I think that's what was credited by Diggs when he said something the other day. You can look it up if you wanna double check it. But my thing was just questioning is like, why now? Why make the change now? Why did you have it on there earlier? And it caters to your best team, so it just makes me scratch my head a little bit. But so we'll let Jeremy look at that. But the other thing, I'm just going to call out Michigan already on the year. I know you guys did, you made it farther than Notre Dame. I'm a Notre Dame fan. You made it farther than them this year. Congrats and all that. But, dude, your guys' non-conference schedule is absolutely dog shit next year. It's UConn, Hawaii, and oh man, I can't even think of the other one. Colorado State. So Ohio State's going to go challenge theirself with Notre Dame. You got other teams that are going to challenge theirself with SEC schools like Georgia and Clemson did this year. Ohio State, credit to them for doing that. Michigan's done it in years past. I just don't know why right now. They're setting themselves up for, I think it was Notre Dame a few years ago, went like 11-2 or something, but they lost the 2 big games and then everything else. So Michigan has to win 12 games, 11 games next year to even be relevant then when you're going to play on a lighter schedule like that. They should be favored in all of them, maybe 2, 3 tops, and they could be favored in all of them. So what do you got right now?
This here's just basically saying that one of the reasons that they did make the changes was because of their taking into account the alterations made during the 2020 COVID season.
So So teams didn't get to play each other, or this or that, so they're trying to...
certain teams didn't get to play each other.
Doesn't that sound funny, though?
It really does. And don't you think that they should have done that last year in 2021?
Man, you could have just stuck to the plan, and then you could have been above it and did it at the beginning of this year.
Exactly.
To switch it now after, and then after the landscape's changing a little bit.
It says right here that the news came just hours after Penn State accidentally published the revised schedule on its official website. So Penn State leaked it. So then the Big Ten had to come kind of save face.
Pretty much.
Look, because right here, Ohio State's game with Penn State got moved from October 1st to October 29th now. So
see, and that was going to be a lot closer to the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, because if you look here, this is the way. Look,
that's the way it was, wasn't it? See, you had at Michigan State, at Penn State, and Notre Dame all in the first 5 weeks of football.
Yeah, Notre Dame,
and Arkansas State and Toledo were, they're decent. They're decent. Yeah, that they play some games. Toledo played Notre Dame.
Yeah, because you were at Michigan State, at Penn State, then with Rutgers and Iowa home, and then a break.
Iowa's not even bad, but what's the new one then, Jeremy? Show what the new one is down there. You got it. Just go ahead and look it up. Yeah, I know this one's a little bit foreign to you, Taylor, with that on there, but I just had to call it out because the other day I was looking at it, and I'm just like, man, I haven't really dug in deeper. I will look in a little bit deeper to see who else may be favored from this, or, I'll look in some comments of maybe other people. If somebody does comment on it, then they could let me know, because I'm interested to see how people feel about that being changed then versus their schedule then to now. And, Michigan, I'm sorry, there's just no rebuttal to that. I mean, good luck. Hopefully you win a lot of games with it, and it can carry you to get in the discussion.
Okay, so here's where the changes are. So September 24th, instead of us being at Michigan State, we have Wisconsin and Columbus. At home.
And then instead of having at Penn State, the next week we got Rutgers at home.
And then October 18th, we're at Michigan State, which is where Rutgers was.
Good. That makes it pretty good.
And then October 15th, we're now off where we had Iowa. And then the 22nd, Iowa, where we were off. The 29th is where Indiana was.
I'm just saying, it was better before. It was tougher before. I think it's tougher to win at Penn State, at Michigan State, and against Notre Dame in 5 week span. Now I think it's manageable to beat Notre Dame, beat Wisconsin, and then you have a big game at Michigan State, and then you got your bye week. It's way set up easier now. I'm not dogging Ohio State. I just don't understand why they needed to do that, because I don't think they needed to do that. I think they're good enough, but I think it was tougher beforehand to where we're sitting at now. I
don't get why the changes were made this year, 2 years after the 2020 season. You should have made them last year.
Yeah.
You should have came right out and made them.
There's a reason for everything, but it still just seems sketch, so. What else you got, Jeremy?
Oh, what else I got? Hey, guys, let's talk about that Bengals playoff win.
Yeah. I'm smiling.
Yeah, I know you are over there.
Yeah.
I know you're the Bengals fan, in the room, so.
Yeah. Been a diehard my whole life. Liked the Dolphins while I was growing up. Loved Marino and stuff. But, yeah, always was Bengals, basically, from Esiason. And when I was young, probably 7 or so, it was the last time we did win the game.
Yeah,
so, when I was young.
They say 1990.
When I was young, all my teams were relevant. The Reds were winning. The Bengals were in a Super Bowl or winning playoffs, and then you had Notre Dame was competing for real national championships and actually winning one. It was the last time. So all my teams were. I've stuck with them. It's been rough. That was fun, and I chose to go to that game. So that was excellent. It was game managed well as it could be. We got up early and we didn't try to bite off any more than we could chew. We didn't try to, we still stayed at least dedicated enough to the run, even though I thought Raiders did a great job of shutting it down. They really made us one-dimensional to where I don't think I think we were a play or two away there where it could have went the other way. Really, it was that good of a game, that close of a game being there.
Yeah. It felt like a good game towards the end there. Bengals kind of got away from them for a little bit, and then the Raiders tightened up and they locked Chase down a little bit.
Yeah, they adjusted.
Which is hard to do. You can't completely lock him down. But.
Yeah. He's going to get his. It's just you wonder whether the Bengals go straight to him early in games, and then some games they've waited to sprinkle him in to see, to get ways, or they have to find different ways to get creative to get him the ball. Certain corners are going to give this. Some people are going to zone. There's other ways you could take advantage of it with him. But him and Burrow's chemistry, it's second to none out there. It looks like some Steve Young, Jerry Rice shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, breaking the longest streak in the NFL as far as a playoff win. With that being said, the Lions now have the longest drought at 30 years. It's been since 1992 since the Lions have won a playoff game. Dolphins since 2000, Raiders since 2003, and the Washington football team since 2006. Those are the 4 longest droughts in the NFL since a playoff victory.
Oof. Who is it now? Who is it? Lions?
You got the Lions, the Dolphins, Raiders, and a football team.
But none of them are like the Lions, though.
No, yeah.
Like the Dolphins was like 2000s or something, right?
Dolphins, it's been 22 years. Raiders, it's been 19 years. And the football team, it's been 16
They're
years.
hurting, but they've had something since 2000. So Rich Gannon's been it or something since about the, that's what you feel about with the Raiders. Since Rich Gannon.
Yeah, I mean.
Tim Brown, Jerry Rice in the late career. And then you look at the Dolphins, what was it? 2000 and what?
2000, 22 years.
Is that Ricky Williams in them type eras? I don't know.
So.
I can't remember. Who could have been the quarterback then? Jeez, man. It's been. They had
Greasy?
defense back then.
Ryan Greasy?
Somebody.
Quarterback?
I don't know. Was he? I don't know. Jeez.
Man.
That would have. Yeah, you might be right on that. Oof.
Oh, man. But out of those teams, who do you think breaks their drought first?
You got the Dolphins, the Raiders. Man, the Raiders probably is what you'd like to say, but the Dolphins are right there neck and neck.
Yeah.
Lions got a few years if they want to mess with that.
But you know what, though? You can't really count out the football team right now either. They just had a couple tough breaks this year.
They did lost in the playoff game last year, and then, they weren't, terrible this year. I don't know.
Yeah, they got a good defense to build around.
Yeah.
I think their main thing is finding that top quarterback, that guy that they can count on to be their quarterback. They've kind of been flirting around with different guys here and there. Heineke's who ended the season for them.
I mean, he played the majority of the season for him. It was supposed to be Fitzpatrick, but unfortunately he got hurt. Dude, I feel the football team are just a few pieces away from really being a contender. I mean, you got Terry McLaurin, you got Curtis Samuel, you got Antonio Gibson. Yeah. I mean, you got a nice young defense.
I mean, Gibson's nice, but could they get upgrade there? McLaurin's good, but he's struggled a lot this year at certain times and been injured and stuff too.
Well, he was been a little injured, and some of the reasons he struggles because they're double teaming him because they don't have because guy. Samuel was injured too. That's what I'm saying. If they could get healthy. They get healthy and get those pieces back and add.
Yeah, might be the difference maker.
Yeah.
But you know how it is to me. Being a Bengals fan, I always loved Andy Dalton. But you either got a guy like an Andy Dalton, or no offense to Grop, but this is where I categorize him. And that you got a guy where you like him a lot, but are they the one that you really think's just going to lead you, and you feel so confident with them, and that having a Burrow, it just puts you in a different thing. To have a guy of that caliber. Speaking of having guys of that caliber, I wanted to talk about the QB class, guys. We've been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about it lately. We talk about it. This was a few years ago. I can't remember what year exactly, Jeremy.
2018 class.
All right. So we got Baker, Allen, Darnold, Rosen, Lamar Jackson. We even gave a shout out to Rudolph at 76 pick, and the boy Mike White over here, the great hype at 171, and Baker, okay, guys, this is what I was kind of breaking this down the other day into like 3 categories, like you kind of maybe 3 or 4 categories, give or take. But you have like out the league, 1-year backup deals, 2 to 3 maybe year deals, 2 to 3 year deals that are maybe deals, or 6 to 7 year guys. Well, I think we already know who the 6 to 7 year guy.
Yeah, that's definitely Josh Allen. I mean.
Yeah, 6 year, what are they, 238 or something they gave him already on extension?
Yeah.
They know, he's the best of the class.
It's ridiculous.
Jeremy called it out way back in the day. Me and him always go back and forth on drafts and all that. When Jeremy knew Josh was that, he wanted the Browns to have Josh Allen. It was definitely, I think, I liked Darnold, so I would have even been worse, I think, than Baker or any of it. Yeah, Baker, I got Baker on a 2 to 3 year deal possibly at Cleveland. I think if he restructures right and does all that, I know people want Baker out. I know next year's maybe a play out deal. He might play his way out of that to a 1-year backup deal. But I think out of right now, I'm still going to give him a 2 to 3 level.
I mean, here's how I look at it. As being a Browns fan, I was never high on Baker. Ryan, you know that. I've come around on him. He was really good in 2020. We had a phenomenal season, made the playoffs, beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, to give us our playoff victory since the 1990s, But anyway, a healthy Baker, let's give him a shot. He's on a 5th-year option. I mean, it's $18 million a year. I mean, it's still less than some of your other starting quarterbacks out in the league. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, let's say, he's making over $40 million.
Let me give both of you guys this scenario. He does good next year. Just does good, not great, but does good. Game managing, gets him to the playoff again, loses in the first round, so to speak. Do you sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal to still lock him in because you're scared of 7 years? Do you let him walk? Do you try to give him a 1 more year prove-it deal? Like, how do you feel about that if he just has another... it'll be better than this year, obviously, but just a playoff berth. That's it next year. 10 wins and a playoff loss, maybe. If he's in the Raiders, if he's in Carr's situation next year...
Honestly...
what do you want to do?
I franchise tag him.
For a year?
For 1 year.
And make him earn it?
Yeah, because franchise tagging him, he's going to earn the average of the top 5 salaries, so he's going to earn 30-something million for 1 season. Yeah. And now you get to see if he's really worth it. And then what if he turns out the following year and balls out?
Just play it year by year with Baker.
I feel like right now you kind of have to.
Yeah, so, I like that. I mean, we're past the times where you draft a rookie and start him. You know what I mean? Nobody does that anymore. Yeah. Mac Jones is the one exception. And I think everybody knew Mac Jones was ready to start.
Well, I mean, everybody knew Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert were ready to start too.
Yeah, that's another.
It's just the mental maturity of being able to understand, read things that other guys just ain't picking up and acclimated to how to lead to.
With Baker, they're never going to be in a spot to draft a guy like that. Yeah. So you're drafting a guy late in the first round, and you're telling Baker, or Baker already knows, like, hey, I need to step it up, or this guy's going to take my spot next year. And
would you draft a guy like that? That's what I'm saying. Would you waste that pick or put another piece around him? And if you do bail out on Baker, then go hit veteran. But it's
I think if we're in this situation, if we're next year, not this year, you don't draft one this year, but next year, if you're in that situation you were talking about, you lost the first playoff game, I think you draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
first round or second round if you got the 24th pick.
24th pick. It depends on if you can get one to fall to you. It depends on which quarterbacks are in that draft. If we're talking,
let's just say Chad Pennington to Lamar Jackson or something. You ain't getting the best arms. They're not available there no more. Kate McCown.
You got to trade up.
Name a bunch of dudes.
You got to trade up.
That were,
you got to trade away a piece to trade up.
Grossman. These guys were like 18th picks and stuff like that and stuff. You don't get strong arm guys there. Those guys are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you take a guy that was smaller school or this and that. You did get Andy Dalton, the Kaepernicks, those types in the 30s.
Yeah.
Quality guys. Colt McCoys. Dudes that can do it.
I mean, yeah, there have been some decent picks down that.
Is that enough to threaten Baker? I think it possibly could be if you have all the pieces around him, right?
Yeah, because your window's
then it puts the pressure.
I mean, here's the thing. Browns wide receivers were ranked 27th out of the 32 teams in the NFL. So obviously that's the weak part of the offense. How about we upgrade that and get a healthy Baker and see what happens?
Yeah.
Then we talk from there.
Then you go to Darnold. Darnold's on a 1 year backup deal to me now.
Yeah.
This is 2 years. I know he's not been in the great teams, and I always loved him because I thought he had an arm that could put on. I watched him play against Notre Dame. USC, by the way, we crushed them. That was awesome. But still, I never hated on him. I knew they had a horrible line there at USC. I don't feel like the dude's ever been on a complete football team.
I don't feel the same thing either. I mean, 1 year backup deal is about where he's going to be from now on. Maybe 2 years backup somebody here.
Was this year his most complete football team with the Panthers? That's what you got. I'm thinking. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
And he still was average at best.
At best, because
he just
2,500 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 13 picks.
But here's the thing: do you think he just
kill his confidence?
Is he mentally beat down from being in New York all them years?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Did those first 3 years in New York just mentally beat him down to where now he's just? I mean, it takes a toll on you losing like that.
It does.
And going through it, yeah.
Being the focus, the center of attention. Because you were just that, what'd they draft him at? 3? Or was he 2?
Who, Darnold? Man, I can't even remember. I think he was 3. He wasn't 2. I know that. I think it was Baker defensive or something. Or
It was Baker at 1, Barkley at 2. And I think you're right. I think it was Darnold at 3 because it was Denzel Ward at 4 because, John Dorsey made up for drafting the Oklahoma boy to all the Ohio State fans that he pissed off. So, we went ahead and took my boy Denzel. So
Yep, Sam Darnold at 3. So, I think back when they drafted him, the fans are really thinking this is the guy.
Yeah.
They're in the same boat with Zach Wilson right now.
Yeah.
So
same deal.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They hit the reset button and they'll see how it goes. Wilson seems like right now he's ready for the challenge. They better get him some help.
Yeah,
now.
but I kind of feel with that whole move, the Jets should have went with a veteran head coach that's been there before. You have a rookie head coach with a rookie quarterback.
I get it. The other Bengals are doing it too. I mean, it's just, I know.
Yeah,
Stefanski
you're
and
right.
Baker,
You're right.
It's happening, man.
It is.
That Bills, what's that dude? Dabble or whatever. I don't know how they say his name.
Brian Dable.
Dable, there you go.
The Bills offensive coordinator.
I mean, he's been there with Allen. I mean, between a coordinator
the
and
whole
a coach.
time. Yeah, him and McDermott's been there the whole time.
There you go, McDermott. That's it.
That's why Josh Allen is as good as Josh Allen is. You put Josh Allen in Cleveland, and he goes through what Baker goes through. Was Josh Allen the same quarterback he is today? Probably not.
He's still better, but he's still,
We talked about this. You said that Baker was what Cleveland needed at the time because of his swagger.
Yeah, it is. It's smart, and he's still, and that's what Cleveland ain't giving him credit for. Because he ain't backing down. It's not like he wants to leave.
He don't want to
leave. He's ready for another challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's punking out of this or something.
Yeah, let's get this man some weapons.
Yes.
You got the 13th pick in the draft, and there's 7 stud wide
As
receivers.
a Cincinnati
Cleveland.
fan who doesn't want that to happen in Cleveland, that's what I don't want to happen. Basically, is what I'm saying in Cleveland. I don't want that to happen. If they get Baker legit weapons like he had at Oklahoma. And it's no disrespect to OBJ. He's a great receiver and all that. It just wasn't a right fit. Not in Cleveland. Cleveland just don't sell pretty or this and that. You need guys to come in that are young, that were on prove-it deals. Baker needed to be the leader, the voice of things, so that the guys look to him. OBJ and them were off in their own world. Landry was already established, even though he's bought in and been great about it.
Love
and then
Landry.
you've missed on Higgins and the other guys, and you just haven't got any other help over there. You need 3-4 receivers these days.
Yeah.
The Bengals proved to you right there. Everybody wanted Sewell. They go Chase. They draft Higgins the year before. They already had Boyd with one of them.
You got Bengals got the best young receiving trio in the league right now, bro.
Yeah, it's dangerous because right now that's where it's at. Imagine if Baker had that.
Chase, Boyd, and Higgins,
and if Stefanski would spread it around with those guys, I think Stefanski would be more aggressive.
We wouldn't be running.
He wouldn't just be all Chubb all the time. And honestly, it really wasn't Chubb all the time. That's the most baffling thing about it. Is when he gave Baker too much when he shouldn't have, and then there was times when Baker needed more, and then he would give it to Chubb. He was totally off balance.
Your all-pro running back's only carrying the ball 16 times a game. Something wrong with that. That man should have been touching the ball at least 20, 25.
Well, they split carries a lot with Hunt, right?
But even when Hunt was hurt, he should have been getting the ball 25 times a game. Put it in Chubb's hand, man. Control the clock. Get up and control the clock with Chubb. You win games.
Yeah.
We'll just get out of the way that Mike White and Rudolph are, on 1 year or not on a team deals, and that's probably where it's not going to lie right now.
So speaking here,
Mason out the league.
Yeah, he's a practice squad player. But let's real quick touch on Mason Rudolph for a second here. Steelers starting quarterback in 2022.
Nope.
No, you don't think so?
Nope.
Who's he backing up, or is he still there?
He could be still there as a backup, or they move on from him, keep Haskins, but I don't know how Haskins' attitude and all that is about being there. I don't know.
I haven't really heard much.
I just feel like the Steelers are get a veteran type guy. They're not that far away. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't think any of them quarterbacks say, "Hey, we can win for you right now." So I think if you do even draft one of them young guys, then maybe Rudolph is the guy to branch you over. Your bridge QB basically.
Yeah, you don't think maybe Steelers go take Kenny
But that's
Pickett?
a 1 year deal. Like I said, that's basically 1 year. But hey, at least he gets to be a starter for a year.
Yeah.
Even if it's for another year, he gets a shot.
The Steelers go draft Kenny Pickett in the first round and let Mason Rudolph start the season off.
And there you go, and that's what I'm saying. But Kenny Pickett's he's an older dude too now, so you don't need to sit a lot. He should be ready.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Played 6 years?
Yes. And then the one that everybody's about is Lamar Jackson.
Lamar, yes.
What do you do with Lamar? If you're the Baltimore Ravens and the way Hundley played.
Yeah. Man,
Hundley, you could bring him back for a 2-year, $10 million.
I feel you could save money on Hundley because Hundley would be.
You got Lamar back for at least one more.
Yeah,
you tag him after that if you want to.
You got Lamar on the 5th year option because he was a first rounder. Truthfully, man, if you're the Ravens, you got Hundley who can run that offense, in my opinion, more efficiently than Lamar ran it. I felt the Ravens were a little bit more dangerous with Hundley QB than I did Lamar.
Yeah, they seem to be able to open things up.
They did
a little bit better, and I don't know. I just think Huntley's a little bit better of a passer. He doesn't rely on his legs, so they didn't as far as the playbook went either.
Yeah,
they opened it up in a little bit different things that they did it, and they approached things differently than what they did with Lamar, and I think it made him a little bit better, honestly.
Honestly, I think if I'm the Ravens, I maybe put feelers out there and see what people think of Lamar, and maybe you make a draft day trade. Get rid of Lamar, save some money.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it out for 2 more years with my man.
I'm not saying I could either, but I'm throwing that out there as a hypothetical. I mean, we all know everybody's going to throw hypotheticals
this next year. I sign Huntley to a 2-year deal if it's me. I give Lamar next year, and if Lamar does good next year, then I still have Huntley back the next year as another backup again, and I can bring Lamar back on a tag deal. And then I tag him. I pay him top dollar quarterback. And if it's not going in those 2 years, then I finally let him go for nothing, and I move on by then, or I redraft, or Huntley's already going to be developing all those next 2 years. I think Huntley can play now. So, if you wanted to sit there and pay for 2 years, you can have him as bait too to trade away. I just don't think it's a bad situation to bring back what you already have and work with that and figure it out over the next year or two.
Right.
I love watching Lamar Jackson, and I hate playing against him.
Hey, I mean,
things that would keep me from, as an owner, would keep me from trading him because the fans probably feel 10 times that way. Mm-hmm. And I think with Huntley, I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I think he's fitting into a good situation, and there's a lot of guys that could step up and
be similar to that
offense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he just looked really good though when he did. It's hard to hate on him. But, yeah, he's no Lamar. That's why I said I'd still start Lamar next year and the next year, and then we'll just keep taking it year for year. And at that point, I might give you a 3-year deal, just a 4-year deal, and be like, let's retire a Raven-type deal. Let's maybe make this happen if he's already just continuously proves us wrong. But I just feel like, these next few years might be another drop-off for Lamar, and I fear that he's going to have to develop as a passer a little bit better, because you're not going to be able to run away forever, and he's learning that, man. It's a rough league to just run away forever from it.
Yeah,
he's been smart as you can be about it,
Yeah, because you've always thought he's one big injury away. He's never had that. He's never really had that big injury.
Knock on wood for him, because you don't want it on him, because it changes everything. It did for RG3. It did a lot of.
RG3 was never the same after his injury.
I don't think he ever was.
No.
I don't know if he was. I don't think he was Lamar, but I think he was still going to be nice.
He would have been.
That Heisman year, he was insane, man.
Yeah.
So it's something to watch those highlights.
Yeah, when you do, he was next level. What about the refs at the playoff games, Jeremy?
I mean, what about the refs during the regular season? I mean,
has it really the truth?
Has it really gotten any better?
Yeah.
I've always said this: the NFL holds players accountable for what they say in post game conferences. Yeah. If a player or a coach criticizes the NFL, they get fined. Mm-hmm. Why are they not fining the refs for making boneheaded calls?
Well, I mean, they are taking the ones from the Cincy game, because it's bad, and they're not reffing the rest of the playoffs. But it's, unless it's an in-house type of recommendation.
I mean, I've seen. Come on, this year's been some of the worst play calling. I mean, from refs I've seen. I mean, let's go. How about the one that comes to mind? How about the Charger-Browns game where Mike Williams was actually grabbing the Browns defender as he was catching the ball, but they called defensive pass interference?
Or the Jets-Bengals with the targeting. I know there's probably been a Niners game over there for you, Taylor.
Yeah,
just one where the refs, you just felt like, man.
Yeah, just totally.
Yeah, it's funny because I said it yesterday in the Niners-Cowboys game, just like I said about the refs controlling the Bengals Raiders game. You know, one team got a little bit out, and they just made sure it was going to stay within that realm they wanted. I felt like they wanted it that way. Like I said, I almost say it feels rigged until clutch time, and then they let you be you again, kind of. Yeah. It's weird, and then even then, sometimes they'll control that because they gotta. Some of the most inopportune times or whatever, you'll just see a flag throw. Like, what? Like, not now, you know? Yeah. You know, we just play, this many good downs.
Yeah, it's now you're just starting to become ridiculous, and even like we've mentioned plenty of times. I mean, does Vegas really have that big of a hand in the outcome of football games now?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, for sure. Definitely makes you wonder. What about the clock management there at the end for the Cowboys?
Oh, man. What's this list we got right here, Ryan? The top 20 worst game managing head coaches of all time by Bleacher Report.
Yes, this was back in 2011.
11 years ago.
Look at this. And
11 years ago.
We're just sitting here looking at it and we're like, man, this is just too many. Eric Mangini, we laughed at that. Yeah. I was a Browns guy, so that's totally, Jeremy had to live all through some of them downfalls. I can't remember particular games, but... John L. Smith they got on here. Michigan State. Oh, I remember a few of his debacles, and then he got up and had the meltdown on the press conference.
Here, things came to a boil to 25 game against Ohio State.
Yeah, they lost Ohio State. Yeah, he had that meltdown after. That's what it was. Mike McCarthy, number 18, when he was a Packer in 11, they called him out for it. Mike McCarthy, who was coaching that game last night? Did Kellen Mond call a damn draw? Hey, let's just run this QB draw. Sounds great right here. They're totally just going to run for 40-yard touchdown on it.
Up until that play call, they were doing great.
That's what I didn't understand. It's like it makes you wonder, did Dak get up and snap it and see it and take off? It's like, Dak, you're not in high school anymore, bro. I get he's a dog.
Who else did we say was on here that we kind of...
We were making fun of Dave because Brad Childress, by the way, our homeboy Dave today, R.I.P. to his ankle. He'd be here doing the video production, but he went outside, have a smoke, and he took a little spill out there off the steps right there. Got some black ice over here in Ohio. It's not messing around.
So we was making fun of Brad Childress at 16 there.
Yeah, we were getting on Dave about that. Big Vikings guy.
Yeah.
We got Wade Phillips. All my Cowboy friends, man, they're feeling that right there.
Yeah, they're feeling a lot. I think they've had a lot
of poor Illinois, poor Florida.
Man. I think this was more his time at... Well, there you go.
Yeah, he always was bad.
How about Mike Brown at 13, guys?
The Cavs? Oh, yes. Everybody hated Mike Brown there. We love Mike Brown. We just didn't like him as a coach.
Yeah, Mike Singletary at 12.
Huh? You remember them, Taylor?
You remember them days, don't you, Taylor?
Oh, yeah. 49ers,
Yeah, we're talking about the worst coaches. Worst game managing coaches.
Yeah, I liked him as a coach, but, I'm sure that he had his moments.
They said he was very emotional. They had Ed Orgeron back there.
11.
Man, that's crazy. And we were talking about that earlier. Jeremy wanted to say, does that surprise you? I said, I don't know. Ed Orgeron, I don't remember a bunch of bad clock managing from him a lot. I'm sure maybe people that had him as their coach did. Me as another fan.
Yeah, I don't. But this year's talking mainly about his time at Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah. So maybe he's learned then. I mean, he went 0-8 in 2009, but we'll have to coach somewhere and came back.
Yeah,
won a title at LSU.
That's I said he won a title. So all said and done, he can just float away and just say, hey,
I mean, look, there's Herm Edwards at 10.
Herm Edwards. They say you play, you win the game.
Hey guys, Rich Rod at number 9.
Oh man, where's a Michigan person when you need him? Just to make fun of him right there and just bring up the Rich Rod years.
Yeah. Where's Bob?
Piss him off real quick.
Bob Bradley at 8.
Oh yeah, I remember him. U.S. men's. Yeah. Who else we got in there?
Isaiah Thomas at 7.
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas.
Andy Reid at 6.
Andy Reid is interesting. I'm just saying, this is 10 years ago at Andy Reid. You think about all his debacles with the Eagles.
Yeah,
all
could never win the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
And it just frustrated them. There were games that should have been handled differently.
Yeah.
That they all look back on him. Did Mahomes save him?
You got the perfect situation.
I mean, it's weird because the whole time he's in Philly, he don't win nothing. And then here comes Doug Peterson, and then within Doug Peterson's first 3 years, boom, Super Bowl.
Man.
You know, they beat the almighty New England Patriots and Tom Brady. You know. And then, yeah, Andy Reid doesn't win one until he goes to Kansas City. So it makes you wonder, was that what it was? Was he just really needed dynamic players like he has in Kansas City? Because he never had nobody on Phillies with the kind of speed he has now.
For sure. Yeah, I think anybody would agree with that. They had some dudes always on Philly, and he always had good game plans and always had good teams. His offenses were always they always had the good little scat backs.
Yeah, they did.
Little
I
Westbrooks and stuff
just don't
like
think
that.
they had the receivers with the absolute speed that Kansas City has with Tyreek Hill and
Yeah, it's like his offense on steroids right now is what Kansas City is.
It really is,
the
yeah.
Eagles. It's insane.
Who we got? We got 5 here. We got Rod Marinelli at 5.
Rob Marinelli.
Man.
I don't really remember too much of you. I just remember you lost a lot of games.
He was coaching the only team to go 0-16. Let's put the first team because, you know, we all know the Browns there went 0-16 as well. 4 is Les Miles.
Les Miles. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Les just always seemed like he was kind of a dur.
Especially when it came to beating Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He had some success. I mean, he won a title too, and that's what I'm saying. Anybody can dog LSU all they want, you know. And me as being a Notre Dame fan and BK going there, it's like I'm not going to hate. I mean, the guy, you know, the place wins games, so that's why BK probably left.
Exactly.
It's tough to win it at Notre Dame. It takes a special type of coach to be there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we got one of those.
Who was Gerard Kemkers?
Gerard Kemkers. Don't know him. Some speed skating
Olympic coach. Yeah.
I don't know. You
Dennis Green at number 2.
He said Dennis Green.
Number 2 is
he had some meltdowns for Minnesota.
Man, didn't he? Back in the day, yes.
They had some meltdowns, some collapses, man. Yeah, I don't know. Denny Green, I just remember his rant, too.
Well, here's one of those talking
about. They are who they thought they were.
Dennis Green elected to run out the clock for overtime.
He did that one later on. But, oh, yeah. The one against the Vikings, the late field goal.
Yeah, with Randy Moss at their disposal in a tie game, and he elected to run the clock out. Atlanta won in overtime.
Yeah. Oof, yeah, that one hurt them.
And then, of course, there was the infamous meltdown on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. Number 1 of all time is Marty Mornhinweg.
Man. He once elected for the
Detroit Lions to kick in overtime. The Lions then lost on the initial overtime possession.
He said that, or we could call Joe Judge. It ain't worse than that. 3rd and 9.
Let's run a quarterback draw.
QB draw, QB sneak, whatever it was. I'm just like, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We got to give a shout out to Big Ben. He was born in Lima, Ohio, where we're from. I know he moved, went over to Findlay, went and did his thing at Miami, Ohio. Got drafted by the Steelers. Played his last playoff game last night.
Yes.
Has always been a thorn in our side for our division. Just basically ran us.
Yeah.
So, you know, good career. Sad to see you go, but definitely glad to see you go. So, hopefully you guys will have lots of struggling quarterbacks in the next few years and make it even easier for my Bengals.
And my Browns.
I got a good one. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Is he a Hall of Famer? Man.
The fact that we're saying is probably telling you everything you need to know. I'd probably say yeah. But I don't think he's like, you know, whatever they would say, first ballot or this and that. It might take him a little bit.
Yeah,
he was definitely a good one, though, man. He's definitely one of the good ones, you know. But it's like, what is he? He's Phillip Rivers with 2 rings. Is Eli? Is Eli then?
Yeah.
Is Eli in the Hall of Fame?
Think about it. But you only had 3 quarterbacks. Is he that
much more dynamic than Ben?
But you only had 3 quarterbacks that class. All you had that class was Big Ben, Eli, and Phillip. That's it.
All of them were great. The other 2 got 2 rings. Phillip never did.
And that's the one. Yeah, man.
Had the most
if he would have got at least 1 ring, that probably would have made that quarterback.
Who won out of all that?
Class.
Not fucking the Chargers.
Who would you take now? Looking back on each of their careers,
he said,
"Who will I take?"
Looking back on each of their careers, who would you take now?
Retaking all of them?
Yeah, if you had to redraft that class.
I think you'd draft them all the same. It was beauty.
Yeah.
Beauty. It all worked out. I know it didn't work out for the Chargers, but man, they always seemed to game away.
Always.
They were awesome.
Always.
Dude, they had him, LT. They had
Antonio Gates.
Yeah. Man, they had some defenses, man. Merriman.
Vincent Jackson.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. Man. Man, oh, man. Man.
Got anything else, Jeremy?
Yeah, so, hey, let's talk about the Bills and them being the first, the team to have the first ever perfect offensive game in the playoffs. They had no punts, no picks, no fumbles lost, and no field goals.
Wow, they didn't even punt.
No, all touchdowns until the kneel downs at the end of the game.
That's called work.
Man.
That's called going to work.
That's actually what that's called, yes. First team ever to do that, man. And they did it in a playoff game.
And a hard hat and just saying, watch me get this
one. Bill Belichick.
Yes, of all coaches to do it against. I
just
Bill
think
Belichick.
that offense was too limited to keep up with Buffalo, period, in that game.
Buffalo looked like they might be one of the teams. We got this Buffalo Bill Kansas City showdown coming up this upcoming weekend.
That'll be fun.
That's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got the Bengals with the Titans, so
that'll be
still
nice.
waiting on the NFC. We do know the one matchup is going to be the Niners and the Packers.
Yeah.
The other one's either going to be the Rams or the Cardinals versus the Buccaneers.
That's going to be nice too.
Yeah,
we got some good ones to look forward to next weekend.
Yeah.
Definitely have some of that stuff back on the show as well. There's been some NCAA coaching changes going around.
Yeah. Ohio State's been pretty busy.
Yep.
Man, pretty much scrapped the whole defensive coaching from last year except Larry Johnson.
Yeah, got rid of Notre Dame. Just got one of your coaches.
Yeah, Al Washington. I never really had any issues with the man.
People say he underachieved at Ohio State.
Maybe he did a little bit.
Before.
I don't really.
He was D-line previously. Notre Dame wants to give him a fresh start on the D-line where he used to coach. They think that's going to be.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just a better D-line coach than he is a linebacker coach.
He's a high energy guy. They say really good on relationships and all that from everything I read. Maybe it's just a good fit there. Marcus is getting some of his guys in, and I like it. I know we just lost our running back coach at Notre Dame, Lance Taylor. He went to take coordinator position under Satterfield at Louisville, so it should good for him. He was a good dude, and then I know Mike Elston. That's who Washington replaced. He went up to Michigan to go to his alma mater.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of good work for Notre Dame over those years. I think he wanted to be the D coordinator or something. I don't know. Just seemed untimely and weird for that. I don't know if anybody will ever know really how it all went down. He had his trial run. Didn't really go that well in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
The way they choked in the second half. So I don't know if maybe because of that, helped lead him to leave.
Or maybe he just doesn't want to do it.
No, he seemed like he wanted to be all in Notre Dame, and he said he was going to stay only like a month before, and then he ended up leaving. But Michigan is his alma mater, so I don't know, but there's a lot of uncertainty with Harbaugh going on right now. It's do we know in the next few weeks, is people really going to keep calling him, or is he really fielding offers, or is that leverage to go back to Michigan?
Yeah. So let's flip over to NFL vacancies real quick here, since we're talking about vacancies. We got who? We got the Bears, we got the Vikings, we got the Texans, we got the Dolphins. Man.
The Jaguars.
I'm
into that.
Jaguars.
That one's, you got to think, man. That's a good
job.
I'm looking to go there. If I'm a candidate, that's where I'm looking at right now.
For sure.
Jaguars, you the Giants, and
you got the Giants as well. Yes,
I forgot the Giants. They got them picks. Yes.
Yeah, the Giants. See, the Giants have 2 first rounders, man.
Out of nowhere, I guess. I just remembered that they had the first rounders. The Giants. I'm always thinking Madden or video games, or I was always thinking like draft simulators.
Yeah.
So I get giddy when I think I can add 3 first rounders or 2 first rounders or whatever, and I think the Giants got 2 high ones.
They do. They have
2 of the top 11. So to me, I'm just like, man.
Yeah, they have.
You got pieces.
Actually, they have number 5 and number 7, and the 7th pick is actually the Bears pick that they got from the Justin Fields trade. So
see, if you're saying, man,
2 top 10.
Yeah, if you could end up adding that, I like that Giants job right now.
Yeah, the Giants job does look pretty good. If you
can get guys that are ready to play now.
Yeah.
You gotta draft guys that got potential, but at the same time, you want to find the most NFL.
Oh, we forgot Denver being on the list too. And Denver's got the 9th pick. You got Jacksonville at 1, Houston at 3,
I could see Denver.
Denver at 9.
I could see Denver going after the Green Bay.
Minnesota's going. Minnesota
the Green
at 14.
Bay coordinator to try to then recruit Rodgers.
Who's that?
Just to throw that out there. I don't know. They had a
Denver.
Green Bay had a coordinator that Denver's waiting to interview or something and wants to ask permission. And
Aaron Rodgers go out there to throw all the little young cats.
Rumor, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that people are going to try to pry him away. You just wonder how good that relationship's going to be, whether it's going to finally fall apart. So,
I mean, yeah, you never really know.
So Denver could be intriguing as well if it could be a place like that, and you get a right guy in that situation.
Could be, but I mean,
Vikings, Jaguars.
Vikings. You got Kirk Cousins. I mean, yeah, you got the Bears.
You want to go right now? The Bears, they don't got no draft picks. Do you really want to go to the Bears right now?
Yeah, the Bears have 0 first-round draft picks.
Roster maybe than some of them other teams.
They probably have some money.
But then you got Khalil Mack over there.
I trade Khalil Mack away and get as many draft picks as you can out of it. I mean,
if you get good value anyway, I think it's something you maybe need to explore to flip into something if you can get 2 pieces out of one now.
Yeah, well, who's to say you can't get 2 first and a third out of Khalil Mack?
I don't think you can get all that anymore for him.
Maybe, maybe not. You get a couple thirds.
He said a couple thirds. I ain't taking that. I ain't getting no Khalil Mack for a couple thirds.
I mean, just.
But if you go maybe throw like a first and a third or something, then maybe, you got to maybe think that you could get 2 guys right now on that, off of that pick. And, if you still draft a young edge rusher and then you get an extra third rounder to put on the O-line to help protect Fields, I think it's not a bad deal necessarily.
You're the Bears right now. You're the new Bears GM coming in knowing you don't have no first-round draft picks. Now, the Eagles, who just made the playoffs at 9-7, or 9-8, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, they got 3 first-rounders. 3 first-round draft picks.
But they ain't got no quarterback, and if you ain't got no quarterback,
but
I love Jalen Hurts, and Minshew. Isn't he there too? Minshew.
Yeah, he's there.
He ain't bad too. They're not bad, but look, but they're not great. 15, they're not. They don't got those.
They got 15, 16, and that's the 15s from Miami and 16s from Indy.
But maybe if you draft the right guys around them, the team would be so strong. But like I said, then you need some immediate impact dudes.
But what I'm saying is, do the Bears call Philly and say, hey, I know you got 3 first rounders. I'll give you Khalil Mack for one of your first.
That's not bad if you want to be the Phillies and immediately contend.
Dude, because now you just had Khalil Mack, and now you still have 2 first rounders.
Yep, and you still got 2 first rounders. That's a pretty good deal. I would do it if you're in a position like that and you were this close already this year. I mean, that's what you needed. You needed another pass rusher after Brady, and then you need a better quarterback. I'm just going to put it out there. Either that or you need to go get that quarterback another weapon or something.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts needs another weapon. He's got Dallas Goedert, who has emerged.
Smith ain't bad.
And, Devontae Smith ain't bad, but he needs
he's going to be sweet.
Aguilar's still there, but, I mean, he needs somebody,
all the way right
they need somebody else.
They've moved him around and stuff some games. You can see Smith when he pulls away from certain things.
Well, I mean, the Eagles led the league in rushing this season, after week like 7, so,
That's what I mean. So it's kind of like, it's hard, but if you get rid of Hurts, though, if you ever did that, then you're not going to have that because Hurts helps that.
Yeah, he does.
Helping leading them in rushing. So, that's one of his things. I just don't think he's an elite passer, and I think that's what you need.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. And playing in Philly and playing outside in the elements with the wind, it's almost like playing an AFC North game.
I wonder if you could ask Philly fans if they gave away 2 first rounds this year and a first round next year and could get Russ, and then would give up another first and then the third this year.
Oh, dude, I think they would take
Mack. Would you take those 2 guys and then all you would have is one second rounder to spend on a wide receiver to help Russ? I don't know. I wonder if that's because that might be all their way. If you think about a few things like that.
I mean,
2 or 3 guys like that, and you got all these picks. It's just going to be hard to bring these young guys in and do it right away. You have to be a little patient then.
Man, if the Eagles did that, ended up with Russ and Khalil Mack, and still got a Michi in the second or third, or even somebody.
Carl Pickens.
Yeah.
Guy like that.
Yeah, because I think Hurts wasn't any better off than Wentz was this year. Mm-hmm. They basically put a lower version of Wentz in as Hurts, he'd make a good play, and for every good play there was a bad play, and that's what the down.
And he made a few bad plays against the Buccaneers. You could tell he was.
I don't blame them though, because Hurts ended up killing his team with his play in the end. It's like, so could you blame Eagles for moving on?
No.
And just giving Hurts a chance over Wentz? I mean, just getting Wentz because Wentz was just trash at the end, is what I'm saying. He blew it for the Colts.
He did. Yeah.
Whew.
Well, it's
so tough. That's why I say when you get a Burrow, when you get a Herbert, when you get these young guys that are like that, and that's where, San Fran, Cleveland's still just hoping the Baker to elevate himself. San Fran's hoping this Trey Lance. That's what you guys are hoping. Yeah. You're going to have something in between, something like a Dak or better, a Dak Mahomes type, mixed in one player in Lance, and he's just out there just dogging. You wonder about him or Wilson. Who's going to be the ones out of this draft, this last one, Fields, when we're talking about Baker, Allen Darnold like we were earlier? Who are going to be those next guys? It's going to be interesting to see it unfold these next few years, how that class. It's going to hurt a few franchises instead of
how is Fields and Lawrence going to react being on their second head coach in their second year in the league?
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
It's tough. They become tough things. Stability's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, it started off, I think everybody's high on Wilson, Mac Jones right behind him, Fields right there beside Mac Jones, and then Lance to round it out. And at the end of the year, we're Mac Jones, and then Fields.
Oh, you're talking about during play of the season?
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah. After their play this season, everybody's high on Mac Jones now, and then Fields is behind him.
I'm not that high on Mac Jones. I thought that Patriots had a great team, and I thought Mac Jones was a game manager at best.
Yeah.
He reminded me of like who I mentioned earlier, something like a Chad Pennington type. Really good quarterback, this and that, but
Mac Jones got drafted to the perfect situation, bro.
Yeah, sure. He ain't out there just throwing himself into that. Wait, Trey Lance can throw bombs, dog.
Yeah,
he's got bombs on him. Zach Wilson got bombs on him. But can they read defenses? That's what it's going to figure out. Pre-snap, can they figure out all
Bill
those things?
Belichick's on the phone with Nick Saban. Hey, Nick, give me the real lowdown on Mac Jones. Come on, man.
Oh, for sure.
Saban and Belichick go back to the 1990s to the Cleveland Brown days. I mean, they're tight. They're tight. Come on. I really do think that Bill and Nick had a conversation.
I just think people were scared of the weak arm. Everybody is.
Yeah, you gotta cater to him a little bit. Your play calling has to be 30 yards and in. And
but
as long as it is, and he's accurate.
And if you have the players that are willing to support that and can play in that type of offense, then you're going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels.
That's why tight ends thrive in that offense and wide receivers don't, because wide receivers want deep bombs. Tight ends live across the middle over there on shoulder plays. And think about it. They don't make the big explosions.
Hello.
So you look at some of these.
And think about it. I think that's... And didn't they just go sign Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry in the offseason right before they
drafted? That's what I mean. They catered to this. Awesome. They knew what they
that's what I'm saying.
They executed great by getting Mac Jones, and he's going to be perfect in their system going forward. But... yeah, guys, I think we'll cut it all off there today. We've had a great first episode. Thanks for coming again, Taylor. Me and Jeremy will be back. Probably Taylor, too. Hopefully we got Dave. He's over there in a splint,
Yeah.
He's over there feeling sad, so we got nothing but love for you, Dave. Hopefully you're back on the next one, and we hope to see you guys soon.
It's a Midwest thing.